And so it was then I was like, oh, okay, then I have an assignment because the way this boy is looking at me tells me that he sees me. He sees right through me. He sees it all. And guess what? For the first time in my life, bro, I felt love.
Come
And I
on.
knew that he loved me. And so it was then that I was like, oh man, okay, then I have to do everything that I need to do to make sure that I sustain and maintain that relationship.
What up? What
I
up?
can't
What
wait.
up?
I can't wait till I'm on your level, brother.
Yeah,
I just can't wait.
look at you. Look at you. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I can't
Yo,
wait,
whatever.
bro.
See, I can't wait to get on your level because look at the beer. Look at the beer. I can't wait to get on your level. I can't wait to get on your level. My sister called me. She was like, "Yeah, yours." She said, "I watch y'all podcast all the time," and she was like, "Yeah, your beard is nice. It's working, but your brother Cole, his is legit." I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to start putting like a little emoji over his head so y'all can't
Over in
see
my
the
head.
little. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen,
Well,
man.
listen, your boy Ken then posted that picture of me with that brush.
Yes, bro. Yes, man. Yeah, I already know that was funny, and I'm like, you deserved every bit of
Yeah,
it. You deserved
I loved
every
it. I
bit of it, man. Every bit
I
of it.
loved it. I loved
So,
it. So
so
one of the
Cole.
legit. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. All I was gonna say, man. Listen, man. We are back again, and
Okay.
I'm just excited for another night, man.
Yeah,
Another
me
time
too.
to rock and roll about our space and fathers, man. So
Yeah,
yeah,
me too,
man.
brother.
Yeah,
Me
let's
too.
make it happen, man. So don't talk to me. What you about to say, man?
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick how we started, bro. Are we?
Yeah, all day. You
are
know
we?
that's what we do.
Are we
We just go. Come on, man. That's what we do, bro.
listen, okay, so man, so let me just go back a little bit, Sean, brother, because I don't a lot of people don't know this. My I'm an adult father now, and so my role as it relates to being a dad now looks completely different because I'm parenting. I'm still parenting, but I'm parenting in this with adult kids.
Yeah,
Well, I should say adult children. I don't even know how to describe
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're adults.
You're adulting an adult. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And so with doing that, man, you start to your adult children start to tell you the truth about their perspectives on how you parented them. And I have
oh,
an adult son, man, that's
oh.
home, and bro, we have been like bonding and really like connecting, and it's real. It's gonna get real. Um, and it's gonna get real, brother. And so I've had to like really sit with him and listen, and it's been really profound for me in terms of like understanding like what his experience was with me and what he learned from me. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight is really the idea around how did your children meet you? Like what stage were you at? I'm thinking about the stages of fatherhood, and I'm at this really unique stage in my life as a dad. But I wanted to go back to you to start us off. Is like, can you describe, and describe your experiences as it relates to how you showed up for your children and how did you first meet them? Because you have a beautiful family, man. And I saw the beautiful picture of y'all all in black, and I was like, man, they rocking the leather. I'm like, oh my
Hey,
god,
that was my
these
wife,
folks
man.
ain't
That was my
listen.
wife, man. That was my
She,
wife. She
God
always
killed it.
listen. She always coming up with something different and next level, bro. She like,
Yeah,
okay, this is what we gonna do next. She's always, and I'm like, yo, we just show up.
yeah,
Like we
that's
just
it.
show up. Like, yo, what are we supposed to do? We show up. And she do research on poses. This time when we arrived at the studio, she was like, man, I forgot to look up my poses.
Wow.
But she still had the gear together. But yeah, she's serious when it comes to this, bro. She's serious. It ain't no
And
game.
yeah, and it is definitely well received because I was like, wow, look at this brother's family. And instantly, the first thing I thought of is I was like, he is a blessed man. is what the first thought that came to my mind.
I
Is
receive
that
that,
he's a
man.
blessed man.
I
Yeah,
receive that,
he's a
bro.
blessed man.
I receive that,
Yeah,
man. Cole, like we talk about, man, we don't want to be public successes, but private failures. And
yeah,
I strive not to be
absolutely.
that, man. I strive not to be that. And and what you just shared, what you just shared with me just now, with that question, man. I just want to say, man, how my children, by the time my children met me, I was already on this journey to become healed and whole, right? Um, so I was in a journey. I would say they met me in the midst of a journey, um,
Okay,
but they never met my brokenness
okay,
because I had to fake it until I made it. I had to perform, right? However, what I will say is that my oldest, she met me at the best place I could have been at that time. Now, let me explain by that is that I thought everything that I was doing was better than what I came from, right? So when I'm
okay.
talking about like, and I parented how I was parented, especially when it came to discipline.
Yeah,
But the beautiful thing about it is that she met me when I was on this journey. So when I felt or I knew I was making a mistake or if somebody called me out, I was gonna pivot. So she didn't
okay,
catch me at a place to where it's like, yo, it's my way and it's a highway. Because I used to spank, that was my
okay.
thing. But then one of my boys challenged me on like, why do you spank your daughter, bro? And he was more
Mm.
so taking it or looking at it from the aspect like, yo, if you beat her, that you teaching her that it's okay for men to beat her, right? That was his perspective. So I embraced that, but I don't know if I solely or totally agreed with his thought process, right?
Okay.
But I received it. But the biggest thing that got me was I was like, Sean, you don't know what to do.
I didn't
Uh,
know.
what you guys don't know, we just started back. For some reason, I was talking right, and now you see this whole little shift. But I'll tell you what just took place, man. I'm not gonna go into the details. But a phone call came in right in the midst of us recording this, and the person called me several times, and I kept sending them to voicemail. But Holy Spirit said, "Answer the phone." And when I answered the phone, it was a life
Yeah.
changing call. And if you can see Cole in our eyes right now, you can tell that we was just crying and we was just praying and we was just glorifying God. Because I just got some news, man. Something I've been praying for years and got the phone call. And the individual said, man, you just better be ready. It's almost like Cole when God told us to bring all the tithes into his house so to be meat in his house. It is what it is. If you out there, you believe in tithing or not, it is what it is. I ain't tripping, but I'm using this as a
Yeah,
principle
yeah,
that he says,
yeah.
see that I won't open the windows of heaven and pour you out blessing that you won't have room to receive.
Wow.
And that conversation that we just had, that Cole and I just witnessed and partake, he said,
For me,
brother, he like, y'all, do you have enough to receive?
and what's powerful for me, Sean, is that I'm a witness. Bro, there's power in being a witness to what God can do for brothers that you care about. You know what I'm saying? And
Come on,
so,
man.
my tears are celebratory to being an amazing witness to what God is doing for you, because what he does for you
Come
and what he
on.
does for your
Come
family,
on, man.
he
Come
does for
on.
all of us,
Come
bro.
on, man. He
He
want
does for
us.
all of us.
He want
So,
us. He want us, bro. He want us to flourish. Especially as men, he
Yeah.
want us to flourish. He want us to be providers. He want us to flow. He just want us to be conduits in the earth. He has to get his blessing somewhere. And I'm like, God, why not us? Why not allow us to be this conduit? And this is not about bragging. This is all
No.
about encouraging you. Like Cole, you know what I mean? And we're not gonna speak the number. I had just shown Cole
Yeah.
an email that I received where I'm receiving a large sum of resources to further the fatherhood assignment. And then not only 6 minutes into the podcast, bro, we get a phone call. And it's just like, man, it's about chasing the assignment, chasing
Yeah.
the assignment. And so,
And yeah. Yeah, bro. I was gonna say because today was really about pros. Today today ah man, I'm it's so overwhelming because part of my conversation tonight was really to talk about what I discovered about fatherhood.
come on, come on,
And I thought that creation was simply in the seed that I carried. No one ever told me that creation was in the choices that I make.
mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Say that again, man, brother. Say that
No,
again.
bro. Yes, no one. I thought that my creation was in my seed, but nobody ever told me that creation was in my choices.
Come on, man.
And then when I discovered that, bro, it shifted everything for me because what that told me is that I am the creator of the environment that my children play in. I am the creator of their experiences. I am the creator, with and it's like, wow, God gifted me with fatherhood and also gifted me the ability to create. And so it isn't just about the seed that I carry, but it's everything to do with the choices that we make, right?
Come on,
And bro, you are receiving the gifts because of the choices,
come on, man. And you know, this is
bro.
the crazy thing about it, Cole, is that I haven't always made the right choices. But the key
Bro,
thing, but this is the key thing in it, man,
but
is
that's
that
the power, bro.
I had that my intent, and I'm quick to repent. My intent is to do right.
The heart.
The heart of the Father, man. Yeah,
And guess who gets to see that? God.
come on, man.
God sees the heart,
And so
bro.
this goes to where you're talking about, like, how did I meet and how do we meet our children? Like,
Yeah.
who my children met a long time ago is not the man that they know now. It's just like my marriage, man. My marriage went through a dark time. And so when people see our pictures and see all of the things that we do together and how loving we are, we got that place because of crisis. Crisis grew us closer.
That's it.
And so now when people
That's it.
see the smile and the laughter and the joy, we now know that we appreciate each other. Like we almost lost it by being distracted.
Yeah.
Like Peter, he got distracted. And my wife and I got distracted. And we had to realize, like, yo, what God put together, let no one put asunder. And we like,
Yeah.
no, we gonna build this. And so who they know today is totally different than who my children met years ago. And like I said, man, they met me on a journey. And now I just, because of the investment I made early on in that journey, they get to see the work that was placed in early on.
And
So
that's the
yeah,
power, and that's what I want fathers to take away, is that fatherhood is a journey, and that who you are, how you show up, is really about your evolution. You're not going to show up the same person if you do the work. Like you just said, if I invest in my relationship, if I invest in the relationships of my children, if I invest in the relationship with God and thyself, because that's where it all starts.
come on,
Bro.
man. Come on, man.
It's in that relationship, man. And I think that so often we are distracted because of the distorted images that tell us that some of the best relationships are the relationships that show up when people are smiling,
Come on, man.
when we look filtered and put together. But it's like, no, if you were to pull back that layer and I turn off this light that's got me shining as
Come on.
bright, it's dark in here. I don't
Come
have any
on.
other lights on my in my house except for this moonlight. But
Come
if
on.
I turn this light off, bro, it's dark. And so I think that's power in recognizing, man, that the work that requires to sustain a family and keep a relationship going starts truly with thyself and working hard to maintain that bond, man.
I love it,
And
man.
that
And
it doesn't happen
so
overnight.
so speaking of this bond, I know
Man,
you had to grow to this place of having that bond with your sons.
yeah, yeah,
So how was that bond established? So who how did you meet yours to where now you
yeah.
have that
And
bond?
so Yeah, and so one of the things that it's important to point for those who may not know is that I am a biological father, foster father, and ultimately became an adoptive father. But how I was able to become a father of sons who did not have fathers was first because of how I was presented to my son, was my biological son. And I was introduced to him, as crazy through the experience of his mother. Like, I watched him forming and developing and kicking and moving in her. And so my introduction to him really started with my relationship with her because I was able to connect and bond with him through her. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
I met him, bro. I met him at 9:55 on December 30th, 1994 when he came into the world. And I was like, it was when I met him that I was like, oh, okay, I have an assignment,
Come
right? And I didn't know because how I met him, bro, was I was just coming off of a suicide attempt.
come
You
on.
know what I'm saying? I'm a 16-year-old boy who just attempted suicide, who have abandonment issues, who have fatherhood issues, who isn't close with his mother, experienced domestic violence, low self esteem, and here God says to me, I'm going to give you life. And he trusted me with that. And so it was then I was like, oh, okay, then I have an assignment because the way this boy is looking at me tells me that he sees me. He sees right through me. He sees it all. And guess what? For the first time in my life, bro, I felt love.
Come on.
And I knew that he loved me. And so it was then that I was like, oh man, okay, then I have to do everything that I need to do to make sure that I sustain and maintain that relationship. But bro, it really was the connection that I started originally with watching him grow inside his mother. And that bond is what has sustained me overall because I recognized how deep my love for him was and how deep he loved me. And I wanted to make sure that every young man that came into my atmosphere understood what that love could feel like.
Mm,
But the work really came in, bro, when I started healing from my own wounds.
wow.
And it was that work, man. But I children will show up and love you.
And this crazy.
Man,
I'm just curious, man, on like because you have an adult son, sons,
yeah,
and you have one living with you, and you made
yeah.
reference earlier that you guys had, some great conversations and are having great conversations. Um, so what does your son have to say? pertaining
Yeah,
to your fathering, right? Like, what does he see?
yeah. I can tell you what I could answer that in two ways. I could tell you what I see in him. I see a 26-year-old trying to figure out or knows who he is, but is working desperately, um, extra hard to be who he desires to be. I see him coming into the house tired, overworked, but trying to figure out his passion. And I see an extension of myself. He said to me one time, he was like, "Dad, what you see in me, and that work ethic, that comes from me watching you all those years work." He was like, "Dad, I'm more like you than you realize, but
Mm,
I'm growing into who I ought to be and am as a man because of the freedom that you allowed me to experience and grow as a child." And so he read something that I had wrote that really hit me, and he asked me a question. He said, "Why would you say in your writing that you were envious of me?"
mm,
And I told him, I said, "I was a kid, right? But what I was envious about is that you got to be and do something I never had the experience of doing and being as a kid. I watched you have an imagination that I never had. I watched you have freedom to explore the world without adults tainting and robbing you and causing you harm in a way that I never had, and I was envious of the beauty that was I was able to see in you that I never had an opportunity to experience as a kid myself." And he was like to me, he was like, "Well, Dad, that's because of the choices that you made." And
mm.
what was crazy is I hadn't thought about it was the choices that I made in his life to create those kinds of experiences for him. And then it dawned on me, it was like, whoa, my choices is about creation too. And so it
Come
was
on.
like, I'm learning, bro, that as fathers, we are just as important in the process of creation as mothers who deliver beautiful babies. It's that we have to see it, we have to believe it, we have to trust ourselves. But bro, we are a part of that.
I
We are a
love it.
part of that puzzle,
I
bro.
love it.
And so I think that's what's, been amazing, just kicking it with my adult sons and learning that my new phase in life doesn't have to be as responsible for them because they are adults now, but I still have to be present. I still have to show up. I still have to give advice and be willing to be present and listen to them, man. And I'm loving, being an
You
adult parent.
man, you have your experience with your son right there, of him being able to articulate his feelings and to speak into your life without, I guess, trying to speak into your life. I know that had to
Yeah.
be so powerful, bro.
Oh man. It
That
was
had to
it was life
be.
changing, right? It was. Because he also shared with me the other part of that, a beautiful story, right? He said that you were so busy working and putting out fires of my brothers that you missed the nightlight that was lighting me up. You missed
Mm,
the pain that I was experiencing, Dad. My pain wasn't fire, my pain was a nightlight. And I was like,
oh,
I had to sit with that. And that's powerful, bro. His pain wasn't
absolutely,
fire. His pain was like the nightlight, just enough to guide you through the hallway.
man, bro. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you said,
yeah,
and so my thing, man, is that I look at my children. I look at my children now, like where they're going. They're
yeah,
so driven, and you put it in a great perspective because of the choices that I've made and their mom, that they have that freedom to explore. They have
yeah,
that freedom to take chances and not be
yeah,
ridiculed and not be demoralized, right? And not be ridiculed but they're able to explore on purpose without judgment. So they can
Yes.
arrive at a place that is authentic to them. You know what I mean? And we have to protect that because one of my children, they got something done to them and it was so beautiful. I'm like, oh my God. And they went around some friends, and the
Yep.
friends responded totally different,
Mm.
which could have crushed the way they feel. They was feeling so confident and just like, oh my God, I feel amazing. And then they got around a group of people who shot them down for the very thing that we were celebrating.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing. If we didn't have a great open relationship, my child could have just went and became secluded and shut down and the whole nine and just said, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Instead, brought it to us. We edified them and they're like, yo, I'm
Mm.
owning this.
Yeah.
And just think about how many times, and and I'm talking to you dads, is that you don't have to be in the house. You just have to find a way to be present because you want to be present when your children need you most. What if I wasn't here? And I'm not talking about physically in the crib, but what if I wasn't emotionally or physically present to allow my daughter to express herself and be safety and be that safety net for her? Right? That's important, man. That's important to be there at the right moment as the guardrails are on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is priceless.
Priceless, bro.
Yeah.
Priceless.
There's no check. There's no
Priceless.
check that can that is worth what you just described.
Absolutely.
There's not enough money for that, right? And so
Absolutely.
part of this is for fathers. But this is also a part of us really recognizing and doing that system change work. Is that we've got to stop looking at the tangible things, like when it comes to the financial part. But there are some things that are just what you just described, man, is what the fatherhood is really about.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yo, I
yeah.
think we got another one in the books, and now we have to do
Well,
our closing. Right? It's our time, man, to do our legit or not
uh,
legit. Cole,
yeah,
give us the
yeah. So I
legit or
gotta,
not legit.
man, so my question is, right, because I know you've seen these videos, and many people have seen these videos of brothers that come in with their hairlines pushed all the way back to the middle of their head, or they're just, bald, kind of, like kind of how you how you are, bro. But
Yes,
only you
sir.
ain't got
Yes, sir. Watch out
the
now. You
you,
treading. You
right,
treading. Watch out now. You treading. Watch out now.
right. So the legit or not legit, man. Is it okay for a man to wear a hair unit?
Oh,
Is it okay for him to show up one day
oh,
bald
oh,
and the next day with
oh,
braids? Can he have
oh.
a is it okay for him to
Woo!
show up bald and show up then with a
Man,
man pony?
a
Is
man
it okay
pony.
for a man pony?
Yo, if you got a man
Legit
pony,
or
you
not
gotta
legit?
listen. If you got a man pony, you gotta be from, no hate, guys. You gotta be from like Alabama or like Kentucky or somewhere. If you got a man pony, bruh, like, whoo. But
That's
anyway,
yeah, bro.
legit,
Is that legit or not legit, man?
legit or
Should
not
a man
legit?
have the freedom? Should he have the freedom to wear a hair unit or not?
I let me say this. Let me say this. And I'm not trying to be political, but let me say this to that question. Let me put it this way. I would never, I would never wear a man pony, get extensions, none of that. Right? I would never
Okay,
do that.
okay.
However, Some people are bold and they don't care, and they like, yo, I just want to switch it up. Because my thing is, if a woman can do it, why can't he do it? Like, why can't he? So I'm gonna say it's legit, but I'll never do it.
So
What is yours?
so
I'm curious to see what
mine
the
is,
people got to say.
I wish we could see what the people got to say.
We gonna see
Um,
it.
it's legit for me, bro, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I don't have the kind of shaped head for balls. So if mine go back, I got some like tender meat in
Oh,
the back. It's a little tender meat. You know,
so so
it ain't a lot.
so you- so.
It's about like this. Maybe like a little bit like this stick out in the back. It ain't going all the way down.
Okay.
So and I got a forehead too, bro. So as you can tell, it's my this right here. It's a lot.
So
No,
so
I'm keeping hair on this.
so listen. So that's my thing. So you trying to set it up just in case anything happens. You got a clause. You can't go back. Well, that was when I was younger. So you gonna say,
No,
"Oh, I'm telling you now, it's legit. It's legit, young man. I'm telling you, it's legit.
legit, bro.
Anybody out there that need it,
It's legit.
it's legit."
It's legit. I told my barber to get trained.
Oh,
And on that note, have a wonderful night, people.
yeah. Peace out, baby.